Hi, this is Brett from SRmoto, and this is our Yamaha WR250R dual sport project bike. It's been a while since we did any type of updates on this bike on the YouTube channel, so I thought it'd be a good time to kind of walk around the bike and talk about all the different parts and accessories we've installed on it. Now, Yamaha made this bike from 2008 to 2020. Sadly discontinued it in 2020, but over the years it's been, super popular bike. We've been selling parts and accessories for these practically since they came out. I think we started around 2009 or 2010. It's been a super popular bike over the years, sort of has a kind of a cult following, still arguably one of the best small dual sports that you can get. So if you can find one of these, on the used market, definitely something to consider. Really good aftermarket support. A lot of, aftermarket parts are available for them. Now this particular bike is a 2008 model. So this is actually the very first model year that they made the bike, but they pretty much were unchanged, from 2008 to 2020. So all the parts that I talk about in this video are going to work on a 2008 all the way up through a 2020 model year. Not only will they work on the dual sport model like you see here, but Yamaha also made a WR250X SRmoto version of this bike from 2008 to 2011. So all the parts will fit those bikes as well. And I also did a separate update video for this particular project bike. So if you're interested in the WR250X, check our channel for project bike update for that bike as well. And what I'll do is I'll put links in the video description down below to the project bike page for this particular project bike on our website. So if you want to see all the different parts sort of listed out and more photos and stuff like that, check that video description for that info. So let me just kind of go around the bike and talk about what we did to it over the years. Performance-wise, I'll start out with the performance modifications that we made. We've had a couple different exhaust systems on the bike over the years. Prior to this, we had FMF Q4 system, which is what we have on our WR250X now. If you're looking for a quiet exhaust system, I definitely recommend the FMF Q4. It's going to be the quietest of the aftermarket exhaust for these bikes. Still going to be louder than stock, but definitely on the quieter side. What we've got on the bike now is the Pro Circuit T4 system, which is a full exhaust. So you get the muffler and the header pipe. Now these are a little bit louder than the FMF Q4s. So if you want or don't mind a louder exhaust, definitely consider the Pro Circuits. They're really high quality exhaust systems, a little bit on the expensive side, but definitely high quality. One of the unique things with the Pro Circuit T4 system that you're not going to really find on any of the other exhausts for these bikes is they've actually welded on attachment points for the stock muffler heat shield that comes on the stock muffler, that plastic piece. So if you want, you can attach that to this muffler, like if you're running saddlebags and you want something to protect those from the heat of the muffler, you can actually reinstall your factory heat shield. That's kind of unique to this. They also have mounting points on their header pipe for the stock header heat shield. I've actually got a Z carbon heat shield bolted up to it, but you can also bolt up your stock heat shield to that. So that's one of the nice features of the Pro Circuit. To tune the bike and get it running properly with the aftermarket exhaust, we've done a DynoJet power commander. So that combined with the exhaust system is going to really kind of wake these bikes up. This bike, comes from the factory pretty corked up with that stock exhaust system, sort of designed to maximize fuel mileage, meet emissions and stuff like that. So they're pretty corked up. Doing a couple of these performance mods will really wake the bike up and make it run a lot better. A couple other things that we did at the same time, we did the AIS removal kit from Graves Motorsport. That's just the air induction system block off kit. That way your muffler's not going to pop and backfire on deceleration. We did the X-Up emulator from 12 O'Clock Labs, and that's a little plug and play module. When you remove your stock exhaust on these bikes, you're going to pull off the X-Up system. The little X-Up emulator just plugs in where the X-Up motor was, and it sort of tricks the bike into thinking that that's still on there. That way you won't get a light on your dash. And then the last thing we did is a no-toil Superflow filter kit, which is just a 2-stage foam air filter kit made out of foam material that's non-flammable. The oil they use on it is non-flammable. That way it doesn't need a backfire screen, so it's going to flow air a little bit better than that stock air filter does. So that's the no-toil Superflow filter kit. And that's pretty much all we did as far as performance mods. And as mentioned, it really will wake these bikes up, make them run a lot better, especially at the lower RPMs. You're not going to have that sort of dead spot in the lower part of the power band that I always noticed with the stock exhaust system. Obviously, it's going to make it sound a lot better with the aftermarket muffler. So you just can't go wrong with just doing a few of those performance mods. It really kind of transforms the bike. So that's pretty much it for performance mods. Now let me talk about what we did as far as the tail light and the turn signals and stuff like that. Let me turn the ignition on here so you can see. I'll start at the rear. Replace the stock tail light and that big plastic piece that hangs off the back of the bike with the DRC Edge 2 integrated tail light kit package deal that we have. So that's going to give you tail light, brake light, license plate light, and then a mounting setup for your license plate that bolts up to the subframe of the bike. Really cleans up the back end, makes it look a lot better. Now, as mentioned, this is an integrated taillight kit, so this does have the ability to flash the turn signals within the taillight itself. We're not using that feature of the taillight. We've bolted up a set of 12 O'Clock Labs animated LED turn signals to the side of it. We just kind of wanted the external turn signals as opposed to the integrated. So that's kind of what it looks like with the turn signals lit up. Those are the animated LEDs, so you get a couple different flash types with those. You get the scrolling flash like you see here, and then you can also set them up so that they'll just do a normal flash. I think they've got 4 or 5 different flash types they do. The tail light itself, really bright LEDs, and then it's got built-in safety brake pulsing, so it'll pulse the brake light every time you hit your brakes. You can turn that off if you want, but that's, in my opinion, kind of a nice safety feature of these. So that's kind of what we did at the back of the bike. Now in the front, we removed the stock front turn signals, which were bolted up to the top triple clamp, and we've replaced those with integrated turn signals in the Zeta Armor handguards. I'll talk about the handguards a little bit more here in a few minutes, but one of the options with those Zeta Armor handguards is integrated LEDs, which have been really popular over the years for, not only this bike, but a bunch of the other dual sports that we sort of deal with. And pretty much all the Yamahas come from the factory with front turn signals that work also as running lights. Just gives you more light on the front of the bike, when you're going down the road, makes you more visible to traffic. When you install aftermarket LEDs on these bikes, you're going to typically lose that running light feature. But we wanted to retain that, so we wired in 12 O'Clock Labs running light adapters, which are a real simple plug and play device that wires in with the aftermarket turn signals, and will make them work both as running lights and as turn signals. I definitely recommend that if you want to retain the running lights on the front of the bike. Now, we've also installed a 12 O'Clock Labs fixed rate flasher module that makes your aftermarket turn signals flash slow instead of hyper flashing. So if you install aftermarket LEDs, definitely recommend that fixed rate flasher. So that's it as far as taillight and turn signals. Now, I don't have the bike running, so you can't see the headlight, but we've replaced the stock headlight bulb, which is a halogen headlight bulb, with a Cyclops LED headlight bulb. Another really popular upgrade for these bikes, sold tons of them over the years. It's just a much brighter headlight bulb than that stock halogen, and it's going to be a whiter color, so it's not that yellowish color like the stock one. So if you're looking for a brighter headlight setup, check out the Cyclops LED headlight bulbs. Direct replacement for that stock bulb, super easy to install. So that's it for the lights. Now, one other thing, electronics wise, 12 O'Clock Labs makes a gear shift indicator, which is this little module here. I've got gear shift indicators on a lot of the bikes. A lot of newer bikes are coming with those from the factory. This bike did not have one from the factory, but 12 O'Clock Labs does make a nice gear indicator that is, I think, one of the cooler mods you can do to these bikes if you're used to having that gear shift indicator. So again, that's made by 12 O'Clock Labs. Okay, let's see what else here. We replaced the stock seat with a Seat Concepts comfort seat. This is actually the low version. They make a low and a standard height. Standard height is about the same as stock. The low is about 3/4 of an inch lower. Very popular over the years. Sold a lot of these, especially if the bike's a little too tall for you. Not only is this going to be a much more comfortable seat than that stock seat, but lowers the seat height a little bit. These are roughly, I think, an inch and a half wider than the stock seat, so just a larger surface area to sit on. They taper up as they get closer to the gas tank, so just a lot more comfortable, especially for longer rides. We've got the gripper top material on this with the blue semi-grip sides. So that's the Seat Concepts comfort seat. See, mirrors. Replace the stock mirrors with these double take enduros. We sell a package deal for the bike where you get everything you need to replace both of the stock mirrors. The stock mirrors work great on the street. You know, they're essentially a street bike mirror. But if you're doing any type of off-roading on your WR250R, I definitely recommend some sort of mirror like these double takes that is more designed for off-road use. It's just going to be a lot more durable if you drop the bike. Basically, it's made with ram mounts, and if you hit these on something, like when you drop the bike or even riding through the woods, hit a tree branch or something, these are going to kind of rotate out of the way since they've got a couple pivot points on the ram arm, whereas the stock mirrors are going to likely bend or potentially break off at the, you know, where they are threaded into the perch. That's kind of the problem with those fixed stock mirrors. These are just going to be much more durable. Plus, you don't need any type of tools to install them or remove them from the bike or even to adjust them. All you do is loosen up this little knob here, and then you can adjust them. You can fold them down out of the way if you want to. They're just you'll see these on a lot of dual sport bikes, just super popular upgrades. So if you're looking for a set of aftermarket mirrors, definitely consider these double take enduros. Foot pegs. We replaced the stock foot pegs with these Zeta aluminum foot pegs. Now, the problem with the stock foot pegs is they're kind of on the small side and they're kind of narrow, also not very durable. If you hit them on something, they're known to bend. So if you want to upgrade to a much better foot peg, take a look at these Zeta aluminum foot pegs. Larger overall size, so a lot more comfortable, especially when you're standing up on the bike. A lot more traction since they've got, you know, 3 rows of cleats. These are available in anodized blue. And also another foot peg I'd recommend would be the DRC Ultra Wides. A little bit more affordable. They're made out of steel instead of aluminum. Same size as these, but just a little bit more affordable. And those are available in black, made by DRC, called the Ultra Wide foot pegs. Replace the stock brake pedal with this DRC folding brake pedal. These have been relabeled now as the Zeta brand instead of DRC. It's now called the Zeta Trigger brake pedal. It's available in black with the blue rotating tip. Nice upgrade over the stock pedal. I think the stock pedal brake pedal has got a fixed tip on it, so it's kind of prone to getting damaged if you hit it on something, whereas this is gonna hopefully just rotate out of the way if you hit it on something. Let's see, we also did a Zeta folding shift lever in blue with black. Handlebars and handguards. These bikes come with a 7/8 inch steel handlebar from the factory. We replaced ours with these Pro Taper Evos, which are an oversized aluminum handlebar, 1 1/8 inch where they mount up and then they taper back down to 7/8 inch so you can get all your controls back on. We've done the steering dampener low bend because we've also got a Scott steering stabilizer installed, which comes with the risers and everything to raise the bars up so you can get the steering stabilizer mounted up under the handlebars. Relatively flat bar because of those tall risers. I think these raise the bars roughly an inch or so compared to stock. And then the handguards, also another very popular upgrade. We've sold a lot of these over the years. These are the Zeta Armor handguards. Get these in a couple different colors. You know, they come in blue, black, red, with the plastic protectors that screw to the front. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they've got the integrated LED turn signal option you can do as well. We've done the top triple clamp mount for the handguards, so that way they're not bolted up to the handlebars with clamps. They bolt up to the top triple clamp. So that's the Zeta Armor handguards. We also sell the Zeta Pro Armor handguards, which is just a slightly upgraded version of these, which are also very popular on these bikes. Let's see. What else? Protection. Also, well, I mentioned the Scott steering stabilizer. Another very, I wouldn't say the most popular mod for these bikes because they are expensive, but if you've ever used a steering stabilizer, these will make the bike a lot easier to ride, especially in real rough conditions, where if you're riding a lot on rocks and ruts and roots, tree roots and sand and stuff like that, this is just going to give you a lot more control and also absorb big hits. If you're riding along and you hit a rock or a tree root or something like that, this is going to absorb that instead of the handlebars being ripped out of your hand. So highly recommended if you're doing a lot of off-road riding. Protection. Moose Racing plastic skid plate, another super popular mod for these bikes. You'll see aluminum skid plates are also popular, but I like the plastic skid plates. They are a little bit less noisy, don't vibrate as much, still offer a lot of protection. So if you're in the market for a skid plate, definitely look into these Moose Racing ones. Been one of our best sellers over the years. Let's see, Moose Racing headlight guard just to protect the headlight. Flatland Racing radiator guard to protect the radiator. Seal savers on the forks to kind of protect the fork seals. Zeta heel guard in black aluminum, replaces that big plastic piece. Flatland Racing front brake rotor guard really does a nice job of protecting that front rotor if you're riding in real rocky and rooty conditions. IMS 3-gallon gas tank, another very popular mod on these bikes since they only come with like a little 2-gallon gas tank. Gives you another gallon. Real nice fit and finish. Put your stock tank shrouds back on. So that's an IMS 3-gallon gas tank. Yamaha Link lowering link. Lowers the seat height about 1 inch on its own and about almost 2 inches if you combine it with the factory lowering option. Retro tank shroud graphics from Magic SC. DRC radiator hose kit in red. And let's see, what else? I think we're getting down to the end here. Tires. Dunlop D606 rear and a 120/90/18. Pirelli MT21 in the front in a 90/90/21. That's a real popular setup for mostly off-road riding, maybe 90% off-road, 10% street. If you're doing more 50/50 street and dirt, I like the Michelin Anarchy Wilds. We had those on this bike at one time. That's a really good tire. SRmo Platinum off-road wheels for the WR250R, black with the blue hubs. Giant Loop Buck and Roll tank bag, one of my favorite tank bags for these smaller dual sports. Nelson Rig tail bag mounted to ProMoto billet cargo rack. And I think that is about it. If you have any questions about the bike, leave a comment down below. I try to check those comments periodically. I can respond back to you. We also have an email address listed on the website, so that's a good way to contact us. If you want to see how this bike is set up, definitely check the video description below. I'll put the link to the project bike page on the website where you can see a whole list of everything we've done to it. There's more photos of it, stuff like that. And if you found this video helpful, definitely give us a like. If you want to see more WR250R videos, as well as, you know, Tenere 700 videos, DRZ 400 videos, CRF 300L, all kinds of dual sport stuff, definitely subscribe to the channel. We've got quite a few project bikes here that we're working on, and we try to post updates and product reviews and stuff like that. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in seeing any of that. For now, I think that's about it. Again, thanks for watching. This is Brett from SRmoto and our Yamaha WR250R dual sport project bike. Thanks for watching.